Good morning, Tara. It is April 23rd, 2011, and today is the day that Series 6 of the new series of Doctor Who comes out. Yes! Reviewing that clip to make sure I didn't screw up, I just realized how much I need a haircut. Puff levels are high. Okay, Tara, I want you to brace yourself, because this will come as a very large shock. Ta-da! Ah. Short. Alright, so in your next video, please tell me what you think of it, because me personally, I'm not a big fan of it, but I don't really know what you think, so there you go. Anyway, ignoring my head, I'm going to go on with the rest of my video. This video comes to you in 3 parts. Part number 1, I applaud your Hermione Granger accent. That was brilliant and very well done. Part number 2 is Scrabble. So as you can see, I have everything set up that a Scrabble player may or may not need. I already picked my word. You can see everything's there, the board and the Scrabble dictionary, in case there are any conflicts over words my end of the spectrum, as well as all the other stuff below the board itself. Deluxe board or something, I don't know what we got. Anyway, I already selected my letters, and I already thought of my word for the sake of time. And now I'm turning the board so you can see, even though you clearly can't see what's going on down there. Anyway, my first word is V-I-S-T. And day. Vista. And that scored me a whopping total of 18 points because the A is on a double letter score, so that makes it score 2. Then the S is 1, the T is 1, the I is 1, and the V is 4. So that's a total of 9, and then you double it because it's the first word placed. So if you feel that Vista is for some reason not acceptable as a word, feel free to call me on that, and I will look it up in the Scrabble dictionary. But I can't wait to see what your word is next week. Moving on to the next part. Now, I'm not sure how big of a Doctor Who fan you are, but assuming you aren't one, and to release some of my Doctor Who awesome, nervous, scared, excited energy, I'm going to, sorry, keep looking at my head, I'm going to try to sum up Doctor Who as best I can. Alright, so Doctor Who began in 1963 and is the longest running sci-fi show in history. It began before Star Trek, it began before Star Wars, and it is still running to this day. That's mind-boggling. Overall, there have been 47 years of it, with some weird breaks in between, but 47 years is pretty good for any show. It's amazing. So, Doctor Who is basically about a man called the Doctor who travels around in time and space in a machine he calls the TARDIS with a companion who he finds along his travels, usually from Earth, because that's easy to cast. Alright, so this man is the Doctor. As you may have noted, he's not just one man. He's, as of right now, 11 men. And this is because he's a Time Lord. What a Time Lord is like a super intelligent, almost immortal being from the planet Gallifrey. They're humanoid, they look like you and me, but they have 2 hearts, which is interesting. And another thing that's different from us, besides being able to travel through time and space, and the fact that they're almost immortal, is that they can regenerate. What that means is that when they die, there's a biological process called regeneration, in which every cell in their body is replaced with a different cell, including their brain cells. This is why they have a different personality every time they regenerate. Another thing that's important in Doctor Who is the TARDIS, which stands for Time and Relative Dimension in Space. The TARDIS, or specifically the Doctor's, which is a Type 40 Mark I, doesn't look very impressive on the outside. It looks like a blue police box like they had in England in the 1950s, but that's because the chameleon circuit broke. On the inside, it's huge. It's a whole nother dimension squeezed into this tiny police box, and the Doctor uses it to travel around with his companions and save people. And there have been a lot of regenerations, ranging from John Pertwee to Tom Baker to David Tennant. I love David Tennant. He's my favorite anyway. To the current Doctor, Matt Smith, who's also brilliant. And as well as the many different doctors, there have been a lot of different companions, like Susan, the doctor's granddaughter, Romana, another time lady, Sarah Jane Smith, who is by far the most popular, and Elizabeth Sladen, who played her, passed away recently, and I give my thoughts out to her family and friends. But, and to the current companion, Amy Pond and Rory Williams, or now it's Amy Williams, I suppose, because they're married. Another thing I ought to mention is the Time War. The Time War was a war between the Time Lords and the Daleks, where these being encased in metal shells and have no feelings of love or joy, they only feel anger and hate. And they were involved in a war, because they too could travel through time and space, with the Time Lords. So there was a big war, and eventually everybody died at the Medusa Cascade, and it was a big mess. But eventually the Doctor went on back to Earth as Chris Eccleston, who I sort of love. Anyway, but he's the Doctor that I first saw, so I feel like I owe him some sort of gratitude. And that also introduced us into Rose Tyler, and this is the new series, which is the series that I've been watching because I can't find the old series right now. Anyway. So by the end of the first series, Chris Eccleston dies, and he is replaced by David Tennant, and Rose goes on until the end of the second season, where she is locked in a parallel world with Mickey and her mom, Mickey being her old boyfriend, and eventually a human version of the Doctor. And then David Tennant goes on through the third season with Martha, and the fourth season with Donna, until he dies at the end of the fourth season specials, when there is a knock 4 times in a radiation chamber, and he regenerates into Matt Smith, who introduces us to the new companions, Amy Pond, and Rory Williams. The last person I want to mention is known as Riversong. We don't really know who she is, but there are a lot of theories about her, and the reason there are so many theories about her and why we're so curious is because she knows so much about the Doctor, because she meets him in his future and her past, and they're kind of coming to a meeting point soon, and it hopefully explained who she is in this series. So that is what we're looking forward to. That is what we want to know, and I want to apologize for how long this video is, but I am so excited. Okay, well, I'm not sure if you're on April vacation, but if you are, happy April vacation / happy Easter, if that's what you celebrate. And I will see you soon. KBO.